So as the original athlete, the front of the line is finishing up the last movement for the next phase, he or she is going to go right into our stretching portion, our dynamic stretches. And we will do the stretches for the full range of motion. So we're going to start off with the knees to chest. So we're going to alternate each side, and I have questions a lot about, should we be doing a specific amount or repetitions between each cone? Should we wait to stretch at the cone? How do we know how many is enough? How much is too much? So on and so forth. And it really is just going to be dictated by rhythm. So the idea is to continue to have a flow through this warm-up. We shouldn't have bottlenecks where people are actually standing around. We should be able to move through the range of motion or the distance of the cones in a nice good manner where you can take 2-3 steps between every repetition that you have. So if you want to take big steps in between, you can actually take them. Hold on. We are going to do a stretch on the way back, outside of the actual jog in the first movement. So we did knees down. We're going to do quad pulls on the way back. Reaching opposite ideally. The hand is reaching to the opposite foot in an ideal scenario. Sometimes, especially maybe adolescent or teenage boys might be a little bit tight, so that they'll have to go same side, one hand to the same side leg. Always reach with this free hand, as you see Finn doing as well. It's going to open up that lateral line all the way from the shoulder all down to the actual ankles. Great for soccer players as well. As he's rounding the cone here, we're going to go right into a figure four. One of the key pieces to a figure four that I see done poorly by soccer athletes especially is hanging that knee outside of the hip. So we don't want the knee to be able to be too wide outside of that hip. We actually want to support the knee, support the ankle coming up and across to the opposite shoulder. We want to see this diagonal movement up and across to the shoulder to get the outside of the hips there versus letting that knee hang outside, where we tend to have a little bit of a high risk for impingement, which is actually prevalent in the soccer community. So as we actually finish up here with the figure four, we're going to return with a toe walk. We want a nice good flat back with a toe walk. Nope.
Oh, no.
So we're going to return with the toe walk, back flat, scooping through, legs straight, rocking back on the heel where the toe is nice and tall. It's going to allow the calf complex, the hamstring complex, the high glutes all start to get warmed up as well. Now notice Finn's not stopping through this. He's returning, and as quickly as he returns, we should see the entire team continuing in these motions to be able to have a nice good rhythm of the warm-up that does not create delay. It does not create bottlenecks. So plan your lines accordingly. Next one, we're going to go into a forward lunge with rotation. Some people call it a Spider-Man. Some people call it a world's greatest stretch. We're going to rotate both directions. So notice that Finn is going to rotate towards the leg as well as his upper body is going to rotate away from his leg. So we like this position. In a lot of athletes, you may see some compensations. They can't get low enough. They may have a knee resting to the ground. But ideally, we're seeing it very similar to Finn here, where the back leg is actually, coming into a straight position where you're getting the back hip flexor nice and opened up. You're getting the rotation of the torso nice and tall, so you're getting a little bit of that inside internal rotation off of the front leg, and we're getting a really large amount of work done in a little bit of time. And the last one we do is a lateral lunge. Now on this one, the lateral lunge, I want to make sure that we are keeping the toes forward and we're leaning over that inside leg, keeping the opposite leg straight. We're going to shift both directions before we switch the way we're facing to be able to do the same thing every time with a nice good alternating way that we're actually looking into this motion, meaning that we're biased towards which direction we're lunging. Now again, we can do 2-3 steps in between as long as we're not bottlenecking with people standing still. We want to have these nice smooth movements where we have consistent motion going on throughout the entire process.